All right, so here we're looking at maximizing revenue and profits. So this one is maximizing revenue. So an office supplies company sells X heavy-duty paper shredders per year at P dollars per shredder. The price demand equation for these shredders is P equals 300 minus X over 30. What price should the company charge for the shredders to maximize their revenue? And what is the maximum revenue? All right, so, okay, how do we do this? Well, revenue is what? Well, if we can get it right. The revenue is going to be basically our price times our demand. Well, then if we are having X is our demand, that means R of X is equal to what? Well, it's going to be this price, which is going to be 300 minus X over 30 times our demand, which is just X. That's going to be what we're going to call it. And so that's going to be what? 300x minus x squared over 30. Okay, so that will be our revenue function. Okay, so now let's kind of work our way down and kind of figure out what we have and what we need to have. So we're going to maximize R of X. And we said that that was 300 minus x squared over 30. And now we gotta figure out where the x's go from and to. So we need to kind of think about our range. So we know the x has to be what? Well, it has to be greater than equal to 0. Otherwise, we won't have any revenue. Revenue is 0. If you have that, then we'll just have 300. That's going to be the price thing. But so we know it's going to be from 0 to something. And so let's take this p equals 300 minus x over 30, and we want it to be greater than or equal to 0. So now if we solve this, what we can do is we can take this x over 30 over here. So we have 300 greater than equal to x over 30 multiplied by 30. So we have 9,000 greater than equal to x, or if we read it this way, x is less than or equal to 9,000. But here it says it's going to be greater than equal to 0. So that means what do we have? X is going to be between those. Okay. So we are going to maximize that when 0 less than or equal to x less than or equal to 9,000. So that's kind of a key piece there. All right, now can we find our there's supposed to be an x here. Now can we find our first derivative, r prime of x? Well, 300, that x, so that's just going to give us 300. X squared, that 2 is going to come down. We're going to have 2 times x, and 2 over 30 goes to 1. X squared over, not x squared, just 1x. 1x over 15. Okay. And now we do like we did before. We're going to set that equal to 0. So 300 minus x over 15 equals 0. So 300 equals x over 15 multiplied by 15. So x is going to be equal to what? Well, it looks like 4,500 would be a thing. And x again is the number of shredders. So it's going to be 4,500 shredders. Okay. Now, that was just the first derivative. Now we need to find the second derivative, okay? So that's going to be kind of a critical number, so we have to think of that as our critical number. So now we have r double prime of x, or our second derivative, is equal to what? Well, now, if we start here, well, that's to the 1 power, so it comes down, and so we're just going to have minus 1 over 15. Okay. Well, that's less than 0. So, so no matter what x we put in there, so that's going to be less than 0 for all x. Okay. And that means we're going to end up with a maximum. And so with that said, for all x, so that's going to be maximum, then the max r of x is going to be r of 4,500. 5 would come out. And so that's going to be what? Well, that's going to be 300 times 4,500 minus 4,500, the quantity squared, over 30. And if we plug that into our calculator, that's going to give us our revenue. And so we'll have 4,500 times 300 minus 4,500 squared divided by 30. And so we get 675,000, it looks like. Okay. All right. So what else do we need? So that's the max revenue. We probably better figure out what the profit or the price is. So let's go up here, I guess. P of 4,500 equals 30. And so that's going to be what? 150, 300 minus 150 is going to be 150. So it's going to be $150 per shredder. So that's going to be the cost. So now what price should the company charge for the shredders to maximize revenue? What is the maximum revenue? All right, so with a demand of 4,500 shredders, and then what's going to happen is the max revenue is equal to 675,000 at a price of $150 per shredder. Okay. So that's going to be how we would do that one. Now, what we're going to do here in a little bit is we're going to come back and then we're going to start thinking about, okay, now with that, we're going to maximize profit. So here we maximized revenue. And so in a little bit, we'll come back and we'll maximize profit with this.